Hello lettering friends, I'm Sarah from Ensign Insights, and in this video I am going to share with you the cheapest brush markers that I found on sale at Michael's. So I'm sure you can get other cheap markers and pen sets at Michael's. For an actual brush marker set, this was $7, originally $30. So I thought that was a super good deal to try these out and see if they are any good. The brand is Recollections Signature Masterpiece 2 markers. It says it's a fine brush and extra fine, so it's dual tipped. And then it shows the colors on the back. It says it's water-based dye ink, acid-free, non-toxic, and great for rubber stamping. Which I feel like most brush markers would be great for rubber stamping, so it's interesting that these are specifically for that with the picture on the front. So let's open them up. These are pastel colors and they're really pretty. There were a couple other color sets, but they were, I think, like $14, and I just wanted to go with the cheapest ones just to see what they were like, if they were any good. So this is what it looks like. The name is on it. This one's Tutu. That's really cute. And here's the brush. They call it a fine brush. It's the brush tip. And then the extra fine is what they call it. These look very similar to the Liploom, the Marvy Liploom too, so I'm going to compare those. I think these are the same marker. Like, it's crazy. This one's white and this one's black. But it's the same lid, it's the same length, and even has the same ridges on the fine point side. Wow. They're like exactly the same. Yep, pretty sure they're the same marker. Now let's see how they letter. Overall, after using these, I do feel like these are really good. They're a good brush nib if you like firm pens. So if you like the really firm brush nibs, these are definitely going to be something that you will like. They are very different from Tombow, although the length is pretty much similar, but Tombow is a lot softer. These ones you have to push a lot harder to get the thick downstrokes, but it might bounce back weird since the whole nib doesn't bend as easily. With the Tombow, it's like the whole nib is bending. With these ones, it's almost like there are certain spots that the nib can bend because they're so firm. I really love these colors. It's easier to see in person. It's really hard to capture pastel colors on camera, so some of these you can't tell what they look like. I probably won't be using them very often just because it is really hard to capture them on camera, and I want you to be able to see what I'm lettering instead of guess. But because these are really pretty pastel colors, they'd be nice and soft for your planner or your bullet journal. The fine tip is nice as well. I love that the fine tip is the same color as the brush tip. It is a much smaller, finer tip than the Tombow, if you like that. I would say I definitely wouldn't pay $30 for these, but $7, I feel like that is a great deal. I think it was a good purchase for $7. If you have tried these, I would love to hear what your opinion is and if you agree with me or not. I wanted to test out the thickness of downstrokes, So it's a great upstroke. It's easy to get because it's firm. There are very different variations in the downstrokes. You can get really thick or really thin. So now I just wanted to letter as thick as I could get, pushing it all the way down, and you can see it's a little bit inconsistent in the downstrokes and the size because I'm pushing so hard, and it's really hard to keep a smooth line when you're pushing hard. And then in the next one, it's a very clean line. It's very consistent because I'm just not pushing as hard. So I think this is the look. If you get these markers, this would be the look that you're going for. Not as thick downstrokes. It's very pretty. I love it. So now let's compare the Liploom, the Marvy Liploom 2. And I'm going to use the yellow green and the kiwi because I feel like they might be somewhat similar. So basically what I can see is that they are the exact same marker, just with the different brands, which is a little bit crazy because this reminds me of when I did the cheapest brush pen review, and I chose the cheapest brush pens that I could find on Amazon. And it turns out that they are the same marker as several other brands, just with different names on them. So I feel like that's what is happening here. However, these aren't supposed to be really cheap markers. The Marvy Liploom 2, these ones are like pretty expensive. And even the Recollections, these ones were supposed to be $30. I don't know if the sale was because they are being discontinued at Michael's or why they were discounted, but these aren't supposed to be really cheap like my other ones, the cheapest ones that I found on Amazon. So this was a really interesting discovery. I have the same thoughts about the Liploom, that I wouldn't buy them on full price. I don't think they're worth the price personally, but if you find them on sale, although they are pretty hard to find, but I would definitely get them if you like firm brush nib though, because if you don't, you are not going to like these. I personally really love a firm nib that kind of pushes back at you on the paper. So that's why I do really like these. And they work really well with faux calligraphy because of the fine nib. If you don't know what faux calligraphy is, I will link to my tutorial explaining that below. And lastly, I'm going to do my watercolor test. This is just something that I do with all of my brush markers to see how I can use them as watercolor. I'm just scribbling with them on the plastic case that they came in so that I can see what kind of watercolor background I can get. I'm doing a rainbow watercolor background. If you want to see all of my pens in this background, I will link that video below showing you the comparison. I also have a Skillshare class doing this. I obviously love rainbow watercolor backgrounds. I think it's a great way to add color to your lettering. I feel like with these markers, however, because they're so pastel, it's really hard to get some vibrant colors, and it's hard to see them, especially on camera. But even when it's not on camera, the colors are not very vibrant. Except for the orange, oddly, is pretty vibrant. So with these, I'll probably just stick with lettering. Thank you for watching this video, friends. I hope you liked it. What is the best sale you've ever gotten on brush markers? I would love to hear that in the comments. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I will see you next time.